Namaste friend, we are discussing Pranayam today, that is regulation and cessation of prana intake. Pranayam is a very ancient technique for controlling mind activities and cessation of prana intake to stay in alert nothingness. It constitutes fourth limb of Maharshi Patanjali's eight-limb yoga system. Before we discuss pranayam, we need to be conceptually very clear about the ancient words prana and manas. Prana is intake of food. All living organisms and their cellular structure consume food for energy production. Food is in the form of solid, liquid or gas. Solid and liquid food enter the system via mouth, while gas or air enters the system mainly through nostril as inhalation. Utilized solid and liquid food gets excreted as waste from the lower end of the body system via anus, while gas gets excreted as waste from nostril as exhalation. It also gets excreted from mouth and it can also be excreted downwards as flatus from the anus. This process of excretion of waste is called Apana in ancient terminology. A balanced action between prana and apana is essential fundamentally for the health of the body-brain system. Solid and liquid food gets digested chemically via enzymes into their smaller particles like molecules, atoms, and subatomic particles. For optimal functioning, the semi-permeable cell membrane allows selected particles to enter and leave the body. In the air cells of lungs, oxygen is taken in as food and carbon dioxide is excreted out as waste. In Jainism, the comparable word to prana is pudgal. It is considered that the visible world is made of pudgals. Pudgal exists in four forms, which is pudgal is atom, pudgal skans that is molecules, and pudgal desh and pradesh that is subatomic particles. As per yogic literature, flow of prana is essential for the functioning of the organism. Underneath the cellular body, there is Annamaya kosha, there is a Pranamaya kosha, which is a molecular body. Molecular body or Pranamaya kosha is the primary body. In this body, prana circulates via a system of nadis and chakras. The two bodies, molecular and cellular, remain anchored via chakras. The seven main chakras are central and parallel to the spinal cord and central part of the brain. Their position overlap the autonomous nervous plexuses and endocrine gland. In cellular body, prana circulating through chakras influence neuroendocrine system and bring about changes in all body system including emotion, thought, cognition and breathing. These changes are brought about in appropriation to the flowing prana, which is in the form of miniature audiovisual picture. Such picture is derived by activation of conditioned awareness and accumulation of particles around it. Most of the functions of the cellular body, except voluntary muscular activities are carried out by the flowing prana automatically and not brought up to the neurological alertness. Prana requiring voluntary muscular activities will enter neurological alertness, activate memory and belief system, produce mind modification and changes in emotion and breathing pattern. This prana is called manas. Regulation and stoppage of manas is the initial goal of pranayama. Later, yogis in higher stages of suspended animation tends to stop intake of all the pranas as manas enter and leave along with the breath. Regulation of breath is equated with the pranayama. Breathing is both voluntary and involuntary. It adjusts itself to all voluntary and involuntary activities. Crying, laughing, speaking, changes in emotions, metabolism, acid-base balance, temperature, muscle actions, all tends to change immediately. Voluntary changes in breathing will change above mentioned parameters. This bidirectional control is achieved via oscillatory neuronal activities detected in respiratory center of brainstem, amygdala, hippocampus, and forebrain regions of the brain. Slow and deep breathing or diaphragmatic breathing increases parasympathetic tone and improve health status and help maintaining stable and peaceful mind. Shallow and fast breathing is associated with anxiety and fear states. It was a breakthrough observation by ancient yogis and sages that control of prana can transform human into a god. This explains numerous gods in natural law-based polytheistic religions. Breathing techniques in Hatha Yoga includes Kumbhaka, that is breath retention, Bandhas, that is body locks, Shatkarma, that is purification, and some special pranayams, which include alternate nostril breathing called Anulom Vilom Pranayam, Bhastrika, which is billow breathing, Ujjayi, a victorious breath, Kapalbhati, skull shining breath, Shitali, breathing through a rolled tongue, and Brahmari, breathing with sounding like a honeybees. Srimad Bhagavad Gita mentions about two techniques of pranayam in verse 4.29 for restraint and stoppage of prana intake. One, to couple inhalation with exhalation and exhalation to inhalation, to leaving no gap in between, and the other to restrict or restrain inhalation to its max to reduce prana intake. In direct path, we follow the first technique where we couple inhalation to exhalation and exhalation to inhalation, leaving no gap in between. We anchor our attention to moving breath till we achieve a state of laya or rhythm. Laya or rhythm is marked by automatic, effortless, rhythmic breathing. This breathing allows prana to flow through central nadi called Sushumna. Flow of prana through this nadi leads to the next stage of yoga, which is pratyahara. Simultaneously, it stops prana flowing through ida and pingala nadi. Normally, prana moves up and down through left and right ida and pingala nadi, which is associated with activation of memory and anticipation and mind modification. Thank you, friends.